Now I want to turn to partnerships. Our chief guest really alluded to the essence of creating strong partnerships, because when you work together, great things happen. And therefore, I'll ask Dr. Ntara to actually talk a little bit about the essence of the academia, the industry, and the government working together, and probably touch on PPPs, that is a public-private partnership. Dr. Ntara.
Thank you, Dr. Njuru. I think, in my opinion, the linkage between academia, industry, and government in Kenya is weak. And the reason, there are many reasons which I will list down and try and explain. The first one is research and development. I'm sure most of us in this forum today are lecturers, and so you have an understanding of where the place of research has been in our learning institutions. And we have given that to think tanks and have concentrated so much on student numbers. And of course, that has had a toll on what happens in industry, so that there's a disconnect between what we teach and what the industry wants us to give them, which translates to our economy. Does it grow? Does it stall based on where we have placed research? It also affects the policies that we see coming out. And therefore, that's an area that we really need to look at. There is also conducive and supportive policies. So policy is a big area where leadership comes in. And I'll mention just a few areas that require conducive and supportive policy. We have access to finance for entrepreneurs. Most of our population is not employed, and what they look out for is financing. So we have a problem there. We want to support entrepreneurs, but there's a lot of talk on SME support. So we think about upcoming entrepreneurs. We don't think about expanding or mature businesses. And we give statistics saying, oh, after 5 years, SMEs do not thrive. What are we doing about it? Cases of tariff and non-tariff barriers. And the non-tariff barriers are persistent and they keep affecting businesses. Rural development, we need to support rural development, come up with policies where everyone does not think that the jobs are in the city. They can actually get work wherever they are, or they can create opportunities for themselves. The third aspect I'd mention is having supportive systems, structures, and collaborative partnerships. So when you talk about systems, in Kenya, we have digital government. I'm sure you know about the e-citizen, whose main function is to ensure efficiency in access of services. And there has been a lot of progress, although we are still hanging on to our traditional ways of doing things, because you'll have to go to e-citizen and still present yourselves to their offices again, which brings in avenues for corruption. But those of us who lived in the days where you had to take a picture in front of a tree for your ID and wait for 1 year, we have worked on our systems. There is big improvement. We need to look at, for example, when we talk about the systems and structures, skills development. How are we developing skills in this country? Incentive schemes. What is government doing? For example, we keep hearing that the youth are looking for employment opportunities, graduates from our universities. Can government pay companies to absorb our youth? Job creation opportunities. How are we creating these jobs? And of course, business support services. How easy is it to register a business in this country? And what other support do we offer? Now, the PPP is under collaborative partnerships. And of course, private sector is very important in supporting government. And I think we need to look at this in the context of how do we come together and bring change so that one arm understands what the other is doing. Academia and industry know what is happening, and government is also in the mix. And I believe we need to have appropriate and responsive education. I will have to insist on our curriculums and, working with industry experts to make sure that what we teach resonates with what is needed in the field. And this should not just happen in our school system, it should happen in communities. Professional bodies need to come in, our workplaces as well. And the last point is we need to develop and nurture entrepreneurial behaviors. In our universities, what we are churning out are people who want white-collar jobs, and that brings a big problem. So we need to work together to encourage communities, to encourage individuals, to encourage people, and to change the mindset about work. We don't want to create dependent communities, do we? And therefore, we need to come together. The industry can come up with CSR opportunities and nurture academia, etc. Thank you, Dr. Ntara.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ntara. We are going to wind up our round table by inviting Dr. Njoki for just a minute or so to talk about climate change mitigation